honor of hosting the Kursk icon in our parish for a whole week. This icon has a storied history. As we celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, let us note that this icon has been the protectress of Orthodox people for 767 years. In the corner, there we have the icon of St. Seraphim of Sarov. When he was a child, much like many of our kids here, this very same icon cured him of disease and allowed him to become the saint that we venerate and honor today. And there are so many of these examples. And so many people now say, well, we're of a rational age. We know science now. And I'm sure there would be explanations. We don't see miracles. The miracles don't come as they did in biblical times. But I would counter that it's not because we don't see miracles that they don't exist. I would say that we do not believe, therefore we do not see what's out there. We can read much about the miracles of this icon that is known, but there are so many things that God has given us that is not written down, that is past word of mouth. And his mother, our protectress of the diaspora, is chief among those who are supportive and help us so much as this icon has. Indeed, Christ's first miracle, turning water into wine in the Cana of Galilee, was fostered by his mother turning to him and saying, they have no wine. But to counter those that say that there are no miracles in our time, we must look with a clean heart and see and believe. We have the Orthodox faith, not science, not knowledge, but faith. And that takes more than just what we see before it, but it takes something that is not understood by mere words or knowledge. Father Serge Lukyanov, the rector of St. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral in Lakewood, spoke of a time that he traveled with the icon. And he witnessed how many people went up and venerated. And late at night when they were to leave, people came in rushing, asking for the icon to be brought to the hospital before a young person and an old one that were close to death. The icon was brought. They blessed the people lying in bed, unconscious. And while the doctors were saying they would not survive the morning, within the week they were discharged healthy and went home. There is a priest in the OCA that recounted a story, actually a bishop, forgive me, recounted a story that he was giving a scholarship to a young man at an event, and his father came up and said, my son was involved in a horrendous accident. He was in a coma for months, and the doctors were debating whether or not to pull the plug. We heard the Kursk icon came to us. We asked for it to be brought to the hospital room and in the coffees to be served. And remarkably, the inability of the doctors to explain, within days, the boy was discharged home. And he was the one that was receiving that very same scholarship. God's mercy works with us in mysterious ways. In my own life, the Kursk icon, or I should say the Theotokos, has been ever present in every path of my life. I grew up in Montreal with the original mirror-bearing icon of Montreal. I was in Jordanville and I helped bury Brother Jose. I served as a subdeacon in the Church of the Nativity of the Theotokos in Albany. And of course, I am here as a priest in the protection of the Mother of God. In Montreal, with the original mirror-bearing icon of the Theotokos, Metropolitan Vitality gifted me a little bit of cotton. At that time, that was back in the early 90s, late 80s, there wasn't any easy way of getting anything in terms of a good container. So my father, who was status, collected anything he could. Pill bottles, film canisters, whatnot, so they can be safely contained. I grabbed the film canister. These canisters, as any photographer here who uses still film knows, they are watertight, airtight, to contain that film safely inside. And I put that in my icon corner. A few days later I come and I smell the wonderful scent of the icon. I was thankful. A few days later I come in, the smell is even stronger, and I went over to see did I leave it open by chance. And there stood this little film canister, sealed, uncracked, unopened, and a puddle of myrrh around it. I gathered up that myrrh, and I still have it to this day. It still smells fragrantly. It still dries up every Passion Week, and it comes forth again on Pascha. And even last week, I had an individual who I've been counseling for a while now, in hopeful preparation to become Orthodox. They called me and they said, Father, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. Doctors said they had a tumor the size of a grapefruit inside of her. I prayed fervently for her. His wife was already Orthodox. His child was baptized here. And he prayed, already knowing, having given the resources. And on his birthday, she went in for exploratory surgery. No tumor was found. The doctors could not explain it. They're still trying to figure out what happened. But I know what happened. If he prayed to the Theotokos, if he prayed to God with his heart and soul, with all his mind, here are the miracles that are happening to this very day. The last one happened in the last few months. But we must cast aside our ego, cast aside our pride, and cast aside our knowledge, and grasp with our hearts, with our souls, with our minds. I don't know whether or not Shakespeare was Christian or not enough to go to church, but he wrote a very good line in one of his plays. There is more to heaven and earth, Horatio, than is dreamt of in your philosophy. And as much as we know of the world, there's so much more we know nothing about. And even the Gospel of John says at the end that if we were to put in all of the things that Christ did, none of the books of the world would contain it. So let us come forth before the Holy Theotokos, here, present through her icon. We will pray a short Manibin now before her. This coming week on Thursday, we will have an Akafis with Manibin here at 6 o'clock. Let us come, let us cast aside our doubts, our worries, and let us implore her. Help me, for I am weak. Nourish me, for I hunger. And if we do that with our whole minds and souls, what is granted unto us by the will of God will be through her blessing and intercession. Most Holy Theotokos, pray unto God for us. Amen.